Hey guys, today we're talking about cool security stuff and how impactful security is on our modern ways of life. Security touches almost everything and everyone, from protecting your mom's identity to journalist sources to protecting nuclear reactors, and it really takes a village. I'm Kate Adam, I'm Senior Director of Security at Juniper Networks, and I've asked some of my colleagues here to join me and share in a discussion on what's happening behind the scenes in security. Why don't you guys introduce yourselves? Babette, why don't you go?
Hello, my name is Babette Jackson. I've been with Juniper for about 3 years. I'm an information security analyst, and my main role is data loss prevention and insider threat. And to put that simply, I protect the company's most valuable assets from leaving the company.
Very, very important, especially when you consider all the intellectual property and innovation that goes on at Juniper. Kedar.
Hi, my name is Kedar Dhuru. I'm the Director of Product Management for Juniper's security infrastructure and platforms. It's all of the products that we build that Babbette and her team use to prevent the most important assets that Juniper has from leaving our organization.
I want to dive right in to the fun questions and talk about something that is very complex, the data center. And I know that calling it the data center is something that's probably going to irk a lot of you guys out there, because it's not a data center, right? It's many different centers of data. Data resides everywhere, and especially now that we see more and more organizations using not just a public cloud, but multiple public clouds. Can you guys give your perspectives on data center security and all the complexities that it may or may not involve?
Data center security, quite simply, is about securing data. It's the whole reason you have a data center is you have a place where you keep data. Originally, it used to be one building that you were able to protect.
Not anymore.
Exactly, not anymore. Now it's that one building. You've probably got 5 others. Mm-hmm. You spread that out. The reason you did that was to build a level of resiliency. What if one of those centers of data went down? You at least could run your business on the next one or the third one, and so on. From there, you now have public clouds, which are nothing but some other location where you're running your applications and your data or storing your data. So I look at data center security as being able to ensure that your users can get access to the data that they need. And at the same time, you want to be able to protect that information from leaving your organization, as well as you want to be able to protect everybody that's trying to get access to it. So you want to know who's getting access to it, you want to know what they're doing with it, and you want to know when it leaves the organization and for what purpose. So that's, in general, what data centers are about and data center security is about.
Go ahead, Babette.
Yeah, to piggyback off of that, I believe it's the same thing. For my role and for my job, it was part of my assignment to understand where all our data was, where it's coming in and where it's going out, and understanding that data is literally everywhere. So in order to secure data, you have to know where the data is. But because there's so many different applications, and because there's so many places that the data is being stored, the public cloud, which is just someone else's computer, right? It was hard to keep track of where everything was going. So to be able to know where it's coming from, to be able to know who has access to it, where it's leaving to, where it's going to, takes a lot of management from all sides, from your own company, from the third-party companies. So just understanding is the bulk of security of where your data is and who has access to it.
I've heard a lot about zero trust and defense in depth. Are those strategies useful in the data center to protect the data? And how do you even go about getting visibility into all of these different locations where this data may or may not reside?
Well, before, something my manager told me was a term we were using, or phrase, was trust but verify. But with zero trust, it's become completely different, especially since we've been working from home due to COVID and all these major changes. So now people are moving to zero trust, which is never trust and verify. So with this, it's a completely different atmosphere because I believe in the idea of training and awareness, but given the fact that we have so many people connecting from different places and we haven't really inserted cybersecurity in the forefronts of people's minds, it makes sense to go to never trust and verify, because at the end of the day, we just want to protect the company's most valuable assets from people trying to send it out, insider threat, and the people trying to access it. So I believe zero trust is something that we are pushing forward to, and I believe that we should continue to do.
Yeah. So with applications, and applications residing in potentially multiple clouds at once, microservices, using containers, and using different workloads, shifting workloads from cloud to cloud as costs get cheaper or security controls or automation gets better. How do we apply zero trust or defense in depth on the application front?
So defense in depth on the application side, you're right. It's like the castle analogy, a castle analogy. You, in terms of defense in depth, in order to protect the crown jewels that are located in a castle, you want to have that moat, and then from there you want to have the guards that are on the towers, and then you want to be able to have finally a door around the crown jewels before anyone can get to it. That's your application. That's your data. So you take the same approach to application security. You want to understand that your containers and the image of a container is not compromised. You want to ensure that there are no vulnerabilities in those packages that you're using. Then you want to be able to understand that the person that's writing the application that makes use of those containers hasn't written any kind of vulnerable code. So you want to be able to test it. And then finally, because you cannot protect everything, you want to minimize the risk even further, where you let the machine try to understand what's happening in the application, know what's a good application sequence, and then when something bad happens, it at least flags it and alerts you, or better yet, it's good enough to actually block something bad from happening.
Thank you guys so much for joining me today. This has been a really delightful conversation. I love talking about cool security stuff. So thank you both, Babette and Kedar, and thank all of you.
Thank you.
Thank you.